Well, hello to everyone who is out there in the atmosphere tapping into today's game changing moment. Today, we'll be talking about stepping forward. Why are we stepping forward with the Step Into Your Rhythm, the stepologist, Dr. Regina Platt? Because we are sick and tired of being sick and tired. How has gun violence impacted you, impacted your community, impacted your nation? Why is gun violence leaving a lasting legacy on families that are breaking them, destroying them, and belittling them, hunting them continuously? So, as I say to you, I am Dr. Regina Platt, and I am joined by a host of guest panelists. I'm talking about game changers, hitters, implementers of things that are going to move you forward. Right. So if you look into my audience, right, I mean, to my host right now, I have this young man who is sitting here with me right now. It's Your Highness, right? Your Highness, game changer, mission minded, Your Highness, Dr. Clyde Rivers. I'm talking about the man that doesn't just speak about it, but he bees about it. I'm talking about the one that goes into the hearts and the minds of individuals that never knew that there was something in them that could come forth that would manifest greatness within the community. I'm talking about a mentor of mine, a coach of mine, and that is Dr. Hold on. Let's go back. Your Highness, I need y'all to just bow with me. Dr. Clyde Rivers.
Thank you, Dr. Regina. Thank you.
You're welcome. And now we're going to move over, slide to your left. We're going to move on over. It may not be on the left on your screen, but on mine it is. Dr. Gordon E. Bradshaw. We're talking about a game changer. Again, I don't hang out with people who are not on the move. He is on the move, and he has been on the move. It seems like his entire existence. So I need you to lean in today because these nuggets that he gives you are going to be real. Now I'm going to move it on down. I'm going to do the hop on them, and we have Mr. A.J. Hopper, the hop to it man. He does not worry about what happened yesterday. He steps into his tomorrow with the fluency that is true to thee. And so I need y'all to tap in. This is a game changer. This is a game changing moment. Lean in and hold on. We're moving on over. Summer, you are housing things within your warehouses that have no purpose or no season for you. But Mr. Chris Weir is housing change. He is housing love. He is housing compassion. And so I need you again, as I said, when you lean in, you will win. And so in this conversation on today, I don't know what you've been going through. I don't know where you've been, but you've joined us. You've joined this space of healing with us. You've joined this space of being informed with us. So lean in. Now, I told you, my name is Dr. Regina Platt. I lost a brother. Today is his birthday. His name was Zenny Vassar. And Zenny had a way of bringing people together, regardless of shame, regardless of pain. He believed that together we were the change, right? He believed that things are happening and we need to make them make sense. He used to say this thing, make it make sense to me, sis. And he was shot and killed. Not only was he shot and killed, he dealt with shooting someone else, right? Because gun violence is real. And so on today, we're going to do what Zenny said. We're going to make it make sense. We're going to make it make sense, right? I need you to write that at the top of your paper. Make it make sense.
Make it make sense.
All right. So my first question that I would like to open to you all with is introduce yourself. And we will start with Your Highness. Introduce yourself and let people know who you are and what you stand for.
Yeah, well, I'm His Royal Highness, Dr. Clyde Rivers. I was just enthroned a year ago in Ghana as the development king at large. And I'm one of the lead voices of world civility. I'm the president and founder of I Change Nations. And this is what I stand for. God created 7.8 billion people in the world. 7.8 billion people are called to solve 7.8 billion people problems. So as we lose one somebody loses their answer. So we must fight to make sure that everybody alive can solve the problem they're created to solve by God. And that will solve issues in this world. Thank you.
Dr. Gordon.
Good morning, everybody. Dr. Gordon E. Bradshaw, also Chief Gordon Bradshaw, did a 31-year fire service career, Chief Officer of 2 fire departments, a public safety executive, and the president of Global Effect Movers and Shakers Network, and the 3M Project Global Initiative, where we merge ministries, marketplace, and municipalities for community transformation. I have a similar testimony to you, Dr. Platt. This would have been my son's 42nd birthday month, but he was part of a circle of gun violence. He was shot and killed, but not after he killed 2 people himself. So I understand that circuit and how that works. So I'm very sensitive to those needs. My position is to help re-educate our people toward mutual respect and mutual rights toward one another.
Mr. Harper.
Yes, ma'am. I'm AJ Hopper with Hop to a Concrete Remodeling. To God be the glory. I'm here today to really, I like this panel so far. I mean, gun violence is real. It's a real factor. I mean, I've been on both sides of it. Um, One thing about life is we can't deny what the basically our race itself is having a epidemic with this here. You have mothers, fathers, children, innocent people. You have it's a war, and like the war that we have it's in our younger community. I mean, it started like this. I mean, at first we got the Willie Lynch syndrome with our people and our nation being held captive, for years and years and years. But our mentality never really got freed from this captivity that we went through. And then the next thing that we had was being freed from that. So we had the Black Panther movement come in, very strong, very positive. But throughout that, drugs and alcohol filtrated our community. The government even bought in cocaine. If everyone knows the Freeway Ricky Ross story. With that, there we had brothers that were strong, and these gangs were being infiltrated. We lost track of what we had, where we were supposed to bring freedom, justice, protection to the community, and it became division with these gangs, your Bloods, your Crips, your Vice Lords, your folks. So these things went from the East Coast and West Coast and came here to the middle of the map. And a lot of brothers are being misled. I was one of those brothers that was misled, and through being misled, I misled those who followed me. So I think with me, myself, and I was always strong in my community on whatever I did. I mean, whether it was right or wrong, I've always was a leader. So now I feel like that if you take from the community, there's nothing wrong with giving back to the community and leading these brothers from being astray. Also our sisters, also our lost souls. Because I'm definitely a spiritual person. I do worship the Lord Jesus Christ. So I believe in change. I believe in forgiveness. So that's what I'm bringing. I mean, I might not. I like this panel because I feel like each one teach one. We all have our separate entities where we need to all reach out, like octopus, like the scales on them. And I believe that I'm going to reach the hood. I'm going to reach where it's really happening. I'm a gospel sniper. I'm coming in with my armor on. I tell them I'm not a king. I'm more like a knight, and I'm serving the Lord. And I'm striking with fierceness because even when I pour in the hood, as they call our neighborhoods, I see young brothers walking by, and I might stop and ask them, "Hey, man, you need a job, or you need a job just for the day? You need a couple bucks? Hey, let me talk to you for a second," because I believe in the hands-on policy. It's not going to work just in the churches. It's not going to just work in the doctor's office. It's not going to just work in the clinical study. We can have all of this. It's going to work by us saving the youth, and to reach the youth, I've got to reach the father. So that's what I'm here. I'm real. You know what I mean? I'm not going to sell out. I'm for our people 100%. I'm not racial at all. I don't discriminate versus any community, whether it's gay, lesbian, whatever you are. I accept you, but I believe the Lord Jesus Christ through him, change can come. You know what I mean? And that's where I'm at with Hop to it. Thanks for having me.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Chris Weir.
Blessings. So my name is Chris Ware, and I am the owner of Warehouse Management. We do special events around Topeka, And one thing that I've noticed with the events that I manage, like the concerts, is that the youth, we need to provide more things for the youth to do here in Topeka. Right now, there's just not much for them to do. So I want to help provide more entertainment, more leadership, and things like that. I also coached AU basketball for 18 years. Um, Probably more than 150 kids went through the program I was a part of. And I'm happy to say that, 100% of them are still here, alive and well. So that's what I'm about. I'm about change. I'm originally from Dallas, Texas. So I've seen a lot of gun violence. Oak Cliff was the neighborhood that I lived in down there. So I've seen it every day on a grander scale of, the city. It was everyday killings, you know, mass murders, things like that. So moving to Kansas was, it was a better way of living, and that's why my father Leroy Ware brought us here. So I know things can change. Going back to Dallas, Texas, and seeing what they have done there to change that community, I know we can do it here in Topeka, in Kansas, and in the world. So that's why I'm here. Here to network, here to learn, and that's what I want to do. I want to be a part of the change. So thank you for having me.
Write that down. I want to be a part of the change. I want to be a part of the change. I don't want to be the thing that causes others to fall. I want to be a part of the change. And on today, I'm choosing to hop to it because I hopped online so that I can hear game changing moves that are taking place. So let me give you all a little data. Thank you all for that first round. Here we go. We have 4,062 people died by gun violence in an average year. That means a rate of 12.2 deaths per 1,000 people. Are y'all hearing me? So deaths are taking place. We cannot say this is not happening. We cannot say this is not an issue because one life, as your highness said, one life was one opportunity for change, one solution, right? And so my first question to you all is, and I know some of you have answered this, but how has gun violence affected you? Right? How has it felt for you? When I talk about it, I talk about feelings, right? And some don't want to talk about feelings, but with every trauma is felt within the body. Trauma is felt within the life. You feel that, right? Grab a hold to it. You feel it. It's not that you just see it. You feel it because if you see it, most often there's a secondary trauma to that. So let's talk a little about where have you felt that at, right? Whether you felt it in your pocket, whether you felt it, right, as you've watched young people's hearts be hurt in the community, whether you felt it in your household, where you've seen a separation and isolation take place where people couldn't communicate, identify where you felt that at. Your Highness.
Yeah. I was a Division I basketball player at University of of um, of of like of Utah, and then I came out of that and I coached high school, and I had a kid that killed someone. One of our teammates, one of our team members, shot his actual girlfriend. And man, that you know, I think you have. It's to me, it's a top and a bottom to it. If we're going to address the issue, we have to look at it from a policy standpoint, a mental standpoint, and then a practical on the ground. Many of these things are created by poverty. Poverty makes your mind think at a level it's not supposed to think at. So when you put people in survival mode, they're gonna survive. So this equation, to me, I was impacted greatly because the one gentleman that killed the girl was living on someone's sofa. He was moving around because his parents were incarcerated, and he was living from house to house. So I look at everything from a real standpoint. There's a side of poverty. There's a side of incarceration, and there's a side of policy. And I believe all three of these areas must be addressed. If we don't, and also the honor of having Dr. Bradshaw that understands public safety. So all these things factor in. It's an ecosystem that we have to build and bring people to another way of thinking by establishing opportunity so people have a way out of this actual cycle. So that affected me, and it caused me to become more of an advocate for, if you misinform people, you'll eat the fruit of the information you gave them. So that's why I look at our world today and I go, guys, everyone says, King, why is everyone so actual violent? I said, you put me in a cage, I'm going to act like an animal. If you don't give me opportunity, I'm going to be the opportunity you give me. So if you don't give me an opportunity, I'm going to be that animal that you caged me to be. So in other words, what you sow, you reap. That's a spiritual law. Thank you so much.
It is.
Thank you. Dr. Gordon, could you add a little bit more to that? Because I know you have your own roundup.
I certainly appreciate what His Royal Highness has talked about. As I stated earlier, I had personal experience at the loss of a son 10 years ago. So my grandchildren were in the house when it happened. So this was a very, very close call. It took us, my oldest granddaughter, took us a long time to get this young lady straight because she saw her father die. Now, the problem is he killed two people also. So she saw them die. So that's a lot for a child to absorb.
Jesus. Yeah.
She's doing a lot better now. She's a teenager now and doing better. But that experience brought me to a place where feet on the ground, boots on the ground, I had to begin to address things differently. As a public safety executive, I've dealt a lot with life saving, dealt with the fire service end of things, but I've lost about 5 firefighters to gun violence. Wow. Off-duty incidents, firefighters shot at the scene of a fire, firefighters held up on payday, robbed and killed at the ATM. Another firefighter recently buying a bag of popcorn in Chicago. I live in Chicago. And this retired fire lieutenant was carjacked. Man, 68 years old, carjacked by 4 young assailants. They didn't get his car, and all they did was kill him. Firefighter, 30 years on the job. So firefighting to me has not just been about saving of life and property in that respect. I've seen the violence of guns affect firefighters. They came in one fire station and held it up, stole the television, knocked out the firefighter on desk watch. This stuff is getting really, really, really close to us. And what I found out, you all, is that people are in a state of discontent. When a person is discontented, their minds are all over the place as to how to find a solution to their discontent. And in many cases, people are not wise. They have so few options, as you stated, Dr. Rivers, and they begin to try to create their own world using the wrong materials. And I found out that personality, purpose, and process commingle into what a person becomes. What is their personality? Some people are just prone to violence because they were raised around violent people. I see women and men cursing out 4-year-olds in the grocery store. Mother this and F that, put that toy down. I'm not buying you that GD toy. Mama, can I have this? F you, I'm not giving you no more candy. What?
Yeah.
And you think this little fellow is going to grow up to respect himself or anybody else? That creates in him, in that child, in that little girl, in that little boy, a state of discontent. Like, I must not be worth anything if my parents talk to me like this. So what we're understanding now is, I had a good friend on the fire department, another retired firefighter, 70 years old. Last year went to get a newspaper, got robbed, carjacked, killed. 2 young thugs doing a gang initiation because they're being told, if you want to get in this gang, and you better get in this gang or else we'll kill your mother and burn her house down, you've got to kill somebody. So we've got all of these high risk stipulations on these young people, motivating them to do things. So we got all of this coming together, and it makes them have a bad personality, and people act out of whatever their personality is. So we see that, and that bad personality masks the purpose of that individual. They don't even know what they're really supposed to be or what to do. And so they certainly don't understand process from that point, except to follow what they've been seeing already. Don't think I didn't teach my son as a minister of the cloth, as a man of faith. I taught my son things, even to the point that when he went to shoot people, he would lay hands on them and pray. Can you believe that? Instead of killing most of them, he said, well, I'm going to let you live this time because you need to give your soul to Jesus Christ. And on his way out, he lived long enough to talk to his daughter, get on his knees and pray and give his life to God again. I don't recommend anybody cut that close to the edge. But we're finding out all of these things that are inside of people that make them act like they act. That's just a small piece of my observation. We got to find out what made their personality be like it is. We got to find out what their purpose is and help them to understand that. And then we got to process them into walking out that purpose. But if they go right back to that volatile, dangerous environment, then I found out that sometimes what we taught them just dissipates into the wind because we can't spend enough time with them to really sink it in and soak it in. Wow. Very briefly, I would go to the high schools for career week and try to get the young people to get involved in public safety jobs. And one of my deputies told me, he said, Chief, this is junior year. You're already 3 years too late. By junior year, they've been to violence camps already. They've done time in juvie already. They're not eligible for civil service jobs. I said, my God, I hadn't realized that. So now we've got to go into the schools when the children are 10 years old, 11 years old, to get them prepared to have a civil service job when they're 21. Because between the time they're 10 and 21, they've committed a dozen crimes already. That's just a little piece of the puzzle.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Powerful, Doc. Man.
Thank you. I love you both went into the mind, right? You both went into the mind in the structure, right? And in our institutions and how we break it down and align things. Come on, Harper. I need you to jump on this because I'm ready to talk, and I want you to talk first.
Like I said here, what I'm bringing is basically hope, love, and faith. But also, we got to recognize the key ingredient in this formula, hate. Like the doctor said up there. I mean, my dad was also the cloth. He was I was a military brat. He was 24 years in the service, raised in a very structured home with my mother and father. I chose that life. You know what I mean? That lifestyle. And we got to wake up and see what it is. It's peer pressure. It's you seeing the guy push up in the new Escalade, you know what I mean? Getting the fast money. It's the women, you know, and inside of us, it's deeper than that. It's like the Willie Lynch syndrome. We were engraved as slaves to some slaves captured other slaves. You know, we were engraved to hate each other and to be aware.
So
if I pass another brother on the sidewalk, I'm kind of tense. Hey, what's up? What's up? You know what I mean? How you doing? How you doing? In Atlanta, you might get a good morning. Hey, good morning, Southern hospitality, you know. But the thing about this is the fear within, you know, the fear within us as men. This is my family here. I walk, hey, there's a group of young men here. Hey, y'all get to the right of me. You know what I mean? Y'all go ahead and get in the car. I'm going to have a retreat word. Hey, pineapples. I mean, everybody get on in the car. Dad's going to handle this. You know, it's just the fear of the unknown. Now, when we go deeper into the community, I've been there, man. I've been institutionalized. You know, I mean, I've been having the mentality of I was in there and I've been shot by the highway patrol, you know, times. It's these things, man, you know, when my brother wronged me, I can say retaliate. You know what I mean? When my family gets killed and we go to this funeral and I have to look at them in this casket, it's it's pain inside, you know, where you want to ride back and inflict pain. When your homie dies, when there's no one taking care of these children, where do you step in? What is your role? You know, I've been there on the front line. You know, I've been there getting shot at on the front line. You know, I've been there. So going through that, I started a process of self healing. You know what I mean? I've talked with people, I've talked with brothers, I've met brothers. All of these groups here that we're looking at are usually gangs and lost children and lost souls. Now, what I do is when I hear a rumor in a street echo, I'm going to your big homie because everybody has a big homie. There's somebody that runs all of these blocks, these coordinates, these gangs, these groups. There's always a leader here. And what I'm putting the pressure on now is the leaders. You know, hey, I seen such and such little. We're just gonna use names. We're not gonna give the real names here. I seen such little Alfonso and little Tay. Hey, can y'all go speak to those brothers because they're kind of moving real strong right now. And I'm telling you, you've done time. You know, and this is I'm talking to the big homie. You've done time, brother. You know about this gun sentencing grid here. You know what they're gonna do to him. You know that man has a child. You know these dudes that he's warring with. I give it to Curtis Pitts. Man, we was young, man. We was at war. I got into it with another brother. It was over nothing, something frivolous. Curtis stepped in and made peace within this community, you know. And that's the job of us older brothers, man, because it happens, it starts at home. You might not like what, like the doctor said, your mom's talking crazy to you. I might not like what my dad said. I might not like this punishment for what I did. So now I go out with this mixed emotions and I reflect on what I just was feeling at home. You know, you might have grew up, one of your parents might have been led astray by the drug era, which was the 80s, you know, the Ronald Reagan. They said that it was a war on drugs, a war on our community. But is it a war? Why the government casting a war and Bill Clinton signs this gun bill that now all of these brothers are getting sent at enormous astronomical numbers to this federal prison. Pay attention to these laws in this legislature here. Michael Jordan owns a prison which was called CCA. He was one of the biggest investors in this financial institution. So was President George Bush. Who benefits off of your social security number when you go in here and you become a number? Each bed is paid for in here. We got to pay attention to these rates here. So what I'm getting at is I've been on both sides of the line. I done seen it, you know. I done felt it. I try now to not listen to the gangster rap, you know, because it programs you. In the Bible, it says that there's wines and there's spirits. So when next time you look at a liquor store, look up there. Hey, what's the wine? Okay, Jesus, you know, the wine. Okay, the wine is smooth. But then you've got Hennessy, you've got Remy Martin, you've got vodka. This is a spirit. And when you already have these mixed emotions coming to you and you take a piece of this spirit, and then the spirit casts out of you of evil, angry, violence, greed, jealousy. I mean, the seven, you know, the seven vanities. I mean, it gets deep. I mean, we got to look from within. And that's why I say I'm a gospel sniper. I'm going to go where you can't go. I'm going to go behind the enemy lines. Like, what's going on with you, brothers? I'm here. They're not, it's no fear in me, only the Lord that's in me, you know. And I'm well accepted by that side of the community. So by me changing and turning a new leaf, it shows these brothers, man, come up out the ground. It's okay to come in.
That's right.
It's okay to go get a job, man. Look at my hands every night. My feet, they hurt every night. But guess what? I'm not going to hear that knock on the door from the sheriff's office. Guess what? I'm not going to hear that shot by this young man taking vengeance. I'm not going to hear that. I don't live like that. I don't. It's a free life out here. Enjoy the air. It's freedom. Enjoy the beauty of taking your son on a bicycle ride, walking your dog, taking care of your kids, going shopping for your children, paying your child support. It's not going to happen overnight. It wasn't built in a day. But by pieces and pieces of this process, you will gain freedom within. You know, you can let go of some of that. You can ask for forgiveness of some things that you might have done.
Right.
You can go ask for forgiveness for something that happened to you instead of jumping the gun and being irrational and saying, I'm just going to blow up. No, no, brother, you can do it because I've done it. I'm a walking example of change, of the Lord taking active hold of me watching the brothers in my community that are strong and setting me to the side and giving me these lessons. And now I'm applying these lessons.
Right.
And I'm hands on. I mean, like I said, I'm a gospel sniper. I'm coming to your hood. I'm coming to see you. If you're a young dude, I'll come to visit you in jail, man, and I'll put something on your books just to sell you. I see dudes come home, and street has an honor code, whether we want to accept it or not. There's silence and secrecy. There's when you go down, you hold your mouth shut. All this. So there's a lot of dudes that get back out here. This is another thing. They get back out here after going against what these rules are, or you know what I mean. And I tell them like, hey, bro, you don't have to go back in that lane right there. If you're gonna go back in the lane, just come see me, man, because you've already went down and got this time what you got short by cooperating whatever you had done. So now really you're a target here. Are they gonna backbite on you? But hey, man, you might have came home for your family. I just want you to change. You can join a church. You can join a freedom organization. Don't let your inside pride stop you. And just like gang members, don't let them brothers that you turned your back and now you're doing good, because there's one group of men, which is the growth and development. There's Larry Hoover, and what they preach is growth and development. There's no more gangster disciplism. The gangster disciples were from the 60s and 70s. There's none of that. Right now, it's the evolution of growth and development and feeding and struggling with your fellow brother and moving in righteousness. If you're not doing something right, brother, you don't have to roll with that. It's supposed to be righteousness, doing things for the community. Like them back in the day, they judged the 21st century vote. They judged the blacks to the polls. When Miss Regina was there, I'm telling blacks, hey, hit that poll. You keep talking about all of this going on in the community. What do you really know?
Yeah.
Do you know what the rumors that you're hearing? Are you catching CNN every day? Are you reading this? How do you know what you know? And if you want to change something, there's a legal legislature in position, and every community has a district. We have the legislature, the Senate. There's a governing body for everything.
That's right.
Everybody has to answer to something. So
That's
start
right.
with, let's get these blacks into these schools. Let's get these votes. Like Mr. Chris Ware said, there's not a lot of community programs for the children out here. All they know is YouTube, TikTok, uh, uh, these things that when I was young, we'll ride a bicycle, we'll throw a football, we'll walk to the park. Now you can barely get them to stand out in the sun for 10 minutes. And guess what? Everybody's not gonna go to the NFL. Everybody's not
That's
gonna go to
right.
the NBA.
That's right.
If you can't stand in the sun for 10 minutes, how you going to the NFL?
Yeah, exactly.
You
So
got to do some
Don't do
things.
it.
exactly. So
Training and development.
I try to tell them, man, let's get a trade. Nothing wrong with a trade. Let's get a
Right.
technical trade. They give all of this free money out for these children, but you have to understand to be able to take a hold of it. Just like if you start your business, there's a lot of small business startups, but to know what's going on, I strongly I go into the community. I don't care if you're a prostitute. I don't care if you're a felon. I don't care if you're a homeless person. I don't care what you are. Everybody has a struggle. It might be that person that you passed up yesterday that'll go over here to this Walmart. One of my old school friends went in. I'm not going to say his name, and he just got caught with a firearm at the Walmart trespassing. This was serious, but he had a mental condition that people around him probably seen. And they make comments, but you can't judge anybody, man. Just let's help everybody.
Thank you, AJ. Like literally, thank you for coming into that piece right there, because that was one of the questions I wanted to ask. Because I see a tie-in with the mass incarceration, a tie-in with the gun violence, right, and mental health. I see a tie-in. I see an undealt with. We incarcerate, right? We give time, but somehow you correcting. But during the time, there's not a process of healing, right? To heal first, we heal within, and then it's external. We don't heal on the outside, but we know it happens where the scabs it over, but there's an infection in the inside, right? So the body has to heal from within. The mind has to heal from within. And so we look at these systems that we put in place, but we don't identify this brokenness. Actually, they do have documentation for the brokenness, for the PTSD. They know that within the first 48 hours of being incarcerated, there's a higher level of trauma. They know there's a likelihood of suicide taking place. They know that that's an isolation process, because in reality, they put you alone so they can break you. Right. We know when I look at several of the young men that I know that were killed, or women I know after incarceration, they come out, they were struggling with drug addiction, they were struggling with trauma before they ever got introduced to the corrections, the correctional system. And so what happens is they go in and they come out worse than they were when they went in. Now, some come out well. And when I'm speaking to you, I'm speaking with a background in corrections, a background in working with peoples of interchangeable abilities and disabilities. And so what we look at is we have this American system which incarcerates more than any other nation around the world. And what we look at is our mental health system is not functioning at the level it should be functioning at and serving in the way it should be serving. What we look at is our veteran affairs who are not meeting the needs, disproportionately meeting the needs of those within BIPOC communities, Black, Indigenous, and peoples of color. And so we're looking at a continuous re-traumatization of individuals who are being touched by these systems. And so what happens is they come out and they do the same thing, but in a different format that they're feeling has been done to them.
Right.
And so I just want you all to think on those pieces. And as you all were speaking, I remember being that little girl with peoples around her that had the guns and the violence was taking place and the drugs were taking place. I remember being that girl by the time I stepped into 5th grade. I'm fighting people that were in high school, right? I'm ready. I'm thinking that pyramid syndrome where I'm at the top of the pyramid and anybody up under me, if you're not submitted to me, you're not with me. So I gotta hurt you, right? To me, that's not even a spirit of pride. In today's state, I can tell you that's a spirit of fear, right? Because if I don't dominate all of them, then I can't rock with none of them. And that was a spirit of fear. And I think after I was 38 before the pyramid shifted, and I turned the pyramid upside down, and I was at the bottom, and I allowed the top. If you look, once you shift that pyramid, when you're at the bottom, everything grows from you. Everything grows from you, so you become the root that grows trees, that grows fruit, that grows other seeds get dropped from you. And so it was like, now I'm in power. Now I'm growing because I'm in control of me. And I'm not worried about being in control of nobody else.
Really good.
I understand that it's relationships that connect me, right? And so when I'm thinking about gun violence, I go back and think about Miss Adams in middle school who walks up to me where I got the Dickies creased down, the Cortezes on, black and white Cortezes on, the flag creased in my back pocket. I got the hoodie creased down on the right side with, you know what I'm saying, the straight backs or the different development of braids in my hair. And I'm going in class, I'm freestyling, which that was naturally what I did. But I'm going in class and I'm showing up in here and I'm like, you moved away. I tell you to move. This, the philosophy was broken because that was what I had seen. My birth mother died when I was 18 months old. So everything I knew about being me came from a man. So I reflected on what the man taught me to somehow or another learn what it would be to be me. And so as I watched the movement and I moved around, and I remember her pulling me out of that class and she said, Regina, you're a leader. You get what I'm saying? Regina, you're a leader. And either you're going to lead people and hurt them or you're going to lead people somewhere. You right? Regina, you're not a thug. Pull your pants up. Because I'm telling y'all, I was a flavorful thug, though. I was real flavorful. But Regina, you're not a thug. Pull your pants up. You're a leader. Are y'all hear me? You're a leader. And that was a seed planted from someone outside of my community that was coming in, being a resource in my community. She was teaching English. She knew I loved poetry, right? She was teaching English. She knew that I loved, that I could lead with my eyes closed. She seen me. And so I say to you all, as we go into that, what are some techniques that we know, you know, AJ, you talked a lot about what you're doing in the community, right? But what are some things that we can do vulnerably as we move forward? Because young people are sitting and waiting. I love right now that I'm not the other person. I love right now I could go into corrections and meet children who people didn't want to deal with, and love on them and advocate for them, and have them pull the best out of them. I love that when I was running for city council, I was going into places that others didn't want to go on foot as a woman.
Right.
And I was going and asking men to come out and help me and go door to door with me, or just cover me as I go door to door, because I was always taught that a man should cover me. And I wasn't getting that. But I still had to get on the move. I couldn't back up after. I had to go where he was rolling his blunt up and I'm standing at the door saying, "You need to register to vote." Blunt, and he got the blunt in hand and all, saying, "I'm sorry, miss, I gotta finish this." And I'm like, "Go on and finish it, but let me go and tell you these truths right now. Let me go on and give you this power." So who is willing to go, and how are you gonna go? Because we got an untapped community right now who is screaming out for help. And it was 3 times being shot at. I could have been gone, and nobody had accounted that I could have been gone. I know I could have been gone. I know I could have been gone the day I pulled out the 12 gauge, and for somebody who had traumatized me as a little girl and took from me what was mine. I knew I could have been gone when I was standing at that back door, that I could have went to prison. Because I wasn't worried about whether he was going to live or not, or whether I was going to live or not. I was ready to make sure that he never lived again. So, and I know the power of what it felt like with that 12 gauge in my hand. I know what it felt like. And it was the most empowering thing I had ever felt at that time, because I had no other power that had been given to me. So what are we going to do? Because the trauma is impacting our community. The silence is impacting our community. The man up instead of saying man down. Man down. I see you hurting, brother. I see you hurting, brother. I'm going to step in for you. I'm going to put some money on your books, brother. I see you hurting, brother, because you're trying to take care of your kids and you don't know how you're going to do it because all you ever seen is broken. I see you hurting, brother, and I got a job you can come work on. I see you hurting, brother. I see that they was over there stepping on you. I see that you've been belittled by a system and they lied and they hurt you. I see you. I'm going to come stand with you. What are we doing? Because it's going to keep happening. It's echoing from city to city, coast to coast, from generation to generation. We're not just talking about one generation.
Can I make a point?
Echoing. Talk to me.
I make a point, Dr. Platt. I think we have to also, as Dr. Rivers said, from the policy standpoint, we have to understand the science of what's going on. I live in Cook County, Illinois, Chicago, which has the largest incarceration site in America. 10,000 inmates in Cook County Jail. There's none larger. And through dealing with groups with recidivism control and motivations, I've worked with some people from the county and been able to reduce those numbers. But what I've discovered is that we have to understand that people are content with crime as a culture. Has anybody thought of that? Crime is a culture where we have 70, 75 people shot in one weekend in Chicago. We're having funerals for 10-year-olds in Chicago, victims of gun violence. And when crime is glorified, it becomes a culture. Crime is a culture in Chicago, you all. It's a culture. You can't just tell a person, quote unquote, who's committed a crime, stop that, don't do that again. What's the motivation not to do it again? I used to tell the young brothers, get a job at McDonald's, get a job at Burger King. You know what they told me? They say, Rev, you want me to make $5 an hour? I can make $500 a day dropping these bags. I was silent. What else was I going to say at that point? Because I didn't have an answer. The one thing we've got to do is, and this is something I've talked with His Royal Highness about, the word reduction. We cannot conquer all the problems at once. But I learned this working in city government, reduction of fire deaths, reduction of crime, reduction of sentencing rates for low-end offenses. Reduction. If we whittle away at it, if we cut away at it, if we cut away at the mentality that crime is a culture and it's a glorious thing, when we whittle away at it a little bit at a time, we can begin to make a difference. You got 10,000 people in a facility. Number one, it's unsanitary, Brother Hopper. People are not being fed properly. You can't get yourself motivated to do something different if all you see is the same thing every day. I went in once to try to do something with some of the people inside, and the young brothers are bragging about, yeah, man, I just did 6 months. Oh, that ain't nothing, brother. I did 6 years. It's a badge of honor when you do time. So if we glorify crime and it becomes a culture, what do you have to replace that with? I agree, some things are economic, but we have to have more than just the idea of handing out money. That's not a cure.
Right. Regina, I'm sorry, Doc.
No, Dr. Rivers, come on, man. I'm just working with it.
And you see, and I think on the mental illness aspect and the policy side, we have to be able to actually show that there's evil forces, that there's demons. We leave that equation. You can't medicate a spirit.
You cannot.
So on the policy end, we have to get data and actually research showing that when a spirit leaves somebody, there's there can be a change, because the ultimate thing that I believe is until you follow God's pattern, no other pattern is going to work.
No other.
There are thoughts that are created by culture. There's ideas that people are hearing in their thought life. There's individuals that walk around talking to the spirit realm because it's real, and yet, man, we keep that out of the equation. People are listening to demons. People are listening to evil forces that have invaded their actual soul. And until we bring this to the equation, mental illness is a real thing, but there's another component. We have to, on the policy end, make the actual spirit part valid. So this is what happens on the other part. They say faith is not science-based. So what happens, they don't ever allow faith-based things to enter into actually science, because they say it's not traceable. So the one thing that we're doing in Uganda, I'm working with a university where a gentleman has, he's raised people from the dead. He's created healings. He's had mass deliverance. And what we're doing, we are putting his actual training method in Jesus' name. This one was set free. So we're gathering data on that stuff. So we're saying there is a spirit issue in this equation. Those kids are in prison, and here this prison is a real mentorship system. You come in with one crime and you sit there and you're mentored for 6 months by the big homies on how to do it smarter and better. So it's a mentorship program in the institutions as well. Thank you.
I agree, Dr. Rivers, and this is why you listen, I'm publishing a book, and I've done a year's worth of study on spirituality and science actually being the same model. See, people wanted to eliminate science from spirituality, but the Bible is the most scientific book ever printed. It's scientific. How can you say what you shall have whatsoever you say if you don't understand quantum physics? That when you speak, language is energy. Energy affects molecules. Molecules make up a quantum universe.
Come on. I
tell people, if you don't believe what you can see, stop breathing. Because you didn't see your last breath, and you're not going to see the next one. I wish I could get some help here.
Come on.
So I tell people, I've been doing this for years, teaching about the quantum community and the church community being one. If you understand science, you will understand God better. God said, let there be. It's a proven scientific fact that what you think about, look at, or speak about creates an energy field. Things are energy. Man, I got bad vibes when that dude came around me, man. What do you think vibes is? Vibrations. We are all vibrational entities. We're made out of atoms and molecules and quarks. Those things can be motivated. I've got a thing called a redirect program, how to change atmospheres. I've got tons of testimonies from people. how they change atmospheres. I created 3 viable fire departments through the prophetic, through speaking to entities, speaking to situations, speaking to funding mechanisms. I've been told over and over, we don't have money for this, don't have money for that. One mayor told me, you can't have new equipment, we have no money. So I prophesied $2 million to come in to me to handle the issues. And a group 900 miles away from me from the Appalachian Mountains brought me a check for a couple of $1 million.
Come on.
I don't know how they found me. I don't know how they knew my plight. I don't know how they understood what I was dealing with. All I know is I spoken into existence in the spirit. So Dr. Rivers, you are absolutely right. We cannot eliminate spirituality from the construct of why people do what they do. I've cast out many devils in my 50 years in ministry. I've seen people changed by what you taught them. But if they continue to do the same things over and over, and they glorify crime as a culture, that's because they don't think there is an alternative. We need to bring that message. There is an alternative, and it works in real time. Boots on the ground. Jesus did it. He said the works that he did, we're going to do even greater. Let's get to it. Let's get to it. I ain't scared of that.
I love
I
it.
haven't had a clergy collar on in so long, I don't even know if I still fit one.
Ooh,
Okay?
Ooh.
I'm not the kind that wear the costumes and all that. God bless you if you do.
Ooh.
My thing is, and Dr. Rivers knows this, glory on ground level was a slogan I created.
Mm.
We are the demonstration nation. That's one of my groups. If you can't show it, you don't know it. Okay?
You got hold on. Now y'all didn't took us down by the riverside. We didn't went all the way into the church. We didn't went down to the water. But
I don't want that water. I want living water.
Come on, hold on.
Get off me. You're all up on me. You're too close.
We about to get home.
Watch out.
But hold on. See, I love this because when people try to disconnect science from spirituality, I always elaborate on science is the reflections.
That's
it's
right.
It's the works, right? You know what I'm saying? When we put out something, if I say I'm gonna bake a cake, when you begin to smell the smell of the cake ain't there yet.
That's
but when
real.
I pull that cake out, that pound cake up out that oven, and I take that knife and I cut that slice, and I lay that slice on your plate, and you take that fork of yours and you just cut in it, right? And you pick that bite up and you put it in your mouth. You have tasted and seen, right? You have tasted and seen. And when they go out into science and they keep seeing these things, they don't understand how, when, or where. They are tasting and seeing, but they're trying to disconnect from the truth.
Well, Dr. Platt, how did you smell the cake?
Because
those are molecules. Odor is molecules.
Ooh.
That have taken on the characteristics of the original object, and air currents are carrying them. That cake is not in front of me, but I can smell you in the kitchen 30 feet away making it. Because it's molecular.
Come on,
somebody talk to me.
Right.
Now, watch this real quick. And there's a word research, which means do over.
Come on.
There was an original thought from God So that's why I created an education system called Searcherdemics. One that gets the God idea is valid, not just the researcher.
Come on,
because man. If the idea wasn't valid, there's nothing to read. You can't research something that doesn't exist. So it exists before it's researched.
Come on.
So who says the one that created it? And watch this here. And I'll be brief, and then we can hear AJ. we need to not allow people to actually separate God from reality.
That's a fact.
So in other words, people, this is my belief. I believe the only way you have freedom is when you find God's plan for your life.
Absolutely.
You will have no freedom anywhere else. Eventually, what you're doing will end. And it won't end well. You are designed from the throne of God to do a work. And if you walk out of your design, you're not guaranteed the protection.
That's real.
Come on.
So I think we have to bring God back in and not watch this here. We need to disqualify God from religion.
Mm.
Don't ever put my God in a religious format,
That's
because
right.
if you understand what the Bible is, now, and the fact that I'm a king, now I understand kingdoms. Jesus said, pray my kingdom, not my religion. So a
Right.
kingdom is a government structure that has policy for everyone. That's why the actual word testament is a legal document. That's why when you have the Old Testament, you have the old legal document, and a New Testament is a new legal document.
Come
So
on.
our Bible is a legal document, not a religious book. And
Right.
until we
Correct.
change the equation, go ahead, AJ, take us home.
Okay. Definitely agree with you, brothers, about the energy. Energy is serious. You know, energy is transparent. Energy is electric. You know, so one thing about this, I mean, we go back. I heard him say these spirits. You know, once again, we went back into the spirit. You had to. Once you cast out a spirit, if you do not feed yourself with the positivity or the graces from the Lord, there's seven more spirits that re-enter that vessel there. That's
That's
way
right.
more wicked, or seven more is what the word says here. And as he was saying also, the spirit of the unknown. I mean, you get these lost souls, like you said, that go into these institutions. Like the Lord Jesus Christ said, he was the only perfect one that ever walked this earth. When I was locked up, you did not come visit me. When I was naked, you didn't clothe me. When I was
That's right.
hungry, you did not feed me.
All
So you
right.
let these men get out of this institution
Come
and
on.
come back home
Saying
with
something,
this
brother.
feeling inside of them, but you didn't research it in the word, but you don't know why you feel what you feel. But the Lord, when the devil came and tempted him on Mount Sinai, he
Come
said,
on.
Satan, get from around me. You know
Mm,
what I mean? And cast him out in the Lord's name. You know, you have to look at this. These are spirits that try to re-enter you. They come
yeah,
in, they
yeah.
vibrate off, they give a magnitude of reflections around you. They hover. You might have a homicide that happened here. You go into that area, you like, man, something just don't feel
Yeah,
right. You might
that's
have a
real.
child abuse going on, or a young lady being raped over here, and you come up to these family members' house and you look at that little girl and you can feel the spirit. Something just don't
Can.
feel right over
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
You
That's
don't
right.
have to have words explaining to you what's going on. You go to a aisle. I went through this before as a black contractor. It's went to a certain store here in Topeka. I
Wow.
told them this order, that order, this order. They looked at me crazy. I said, "Excuse me, I'm a contractor. I have an account here. This is what I'm doing. We're not stealing." Just went through this
Right.
yesterday. They thought one of my painters, he was stealing. This man's not stealing. He came in, dropped it off just like any other American, mixed his paint up. This lady gets on him. I said, "Hey, hold on 1 second, because I went through that, brother. Let me speak to the manager." Once they figured out it was me, we got through that issue. But where we gonna go? I want to kind of travel backwards into this here. I mean, these spirits, right? And these spirits, they have laws. You got to understand that the devices that they
Right.
use, these people with these spirits, one of the first one they use is divide and conquer.
Yep.
That's right.
Which we're back on the violence now. What's going on with the killing is the division of our people coming together as one. It's a division of the church with the
Yep.
community coming together as one. It's a division of the working class citizens versus the hood citizens that's not paying taxes. These citizens paying taxes come
Mm-hmm.
together as one on a common ground.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had spoke with Miss Regina Platt before, the government, okay, you have to pay attention. Once here, I'm going to give you just a couple real fast. I'm a young man. I have three children. I can't support these children. You know, I'm 19 years old. Which direction do I turn? Now, my lady, when she has this child, we have the child out of Medicare, Medicaid. So now the bill goes to the father. Uncle Sam turns into the daddy. The father turns into the partner. So now the bill goes to the partner. Now your lady moves into this Section 8 housing authority or some helping, you know, her with the bills. Now, Dad, guess what? You can't live there. No, you can't legally live there. So now we not only have the father out trying to make drug money, you know, trying to get things to live a fast life. This is what I gotta do. I'm oppressed in this home. My woman's talking crazy to me. She didn't gain this sense of independence to where she's getting this monthly check. She don't need me no more. What can I do to get back into the door of my children? I have to go
That's
out
right.
here. I'm slinging this crack. I'm packing these gats. I'm doing all these things because my mentality and what I'm seeing on this video and what I'm hearing from these homies, this is leading to me to have this feeling in my heart. Now it's the feeling of I've got to protect this. You know what I mean? And they have a crime for that in the feds. It's called a 924C, possession of a firearm in commerce of a drug trafficking crime. That means that you're protecting the dope with this gun. You know what I mean? So you have to stay aware. To be aware is to be alive. So now we got this individual who's carrying this gun. He gets locked up. He's already a felon. Could have had a minor case. Now he's a felon going federal institution. We're losing our men to the system at an all-time
Yeah.
high. I mean, it's not coming down. But
Yeah.
guess what, man? There's relief, and the relief is this. There's programs like Dr. Gordon says that take place, and these people do reach out. You never know where you're gonna get your next blessing from. That's why you got to reinvent yourself. So basically, me, I'm gonna speak within me. I reinvented my brand. Everybody was in the streets all hop, 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 hop. You can reinvent your brand. I heard Alonzo
Right.
Ball's father say this. I reinvented my brand. Now my company is Hop to It, Concrete and Remodeling. I'm going to keep the Hop. I am who
Yeah.
I am. I'm Adrian Hopper. I don't have a nickname. I don't believe in Little Juicy, Little JJ. You know what I mean? I'm a grown man. So I'm
Yeah.
Adrian Hopper. So my
Yeah.
company, Hop to It,
Right.
because whatever you have for us, we're going to hop to it and do it. I 1099 a lot of employees out. It's young brothers that I'm giving a chance. So sometimes I show up at the client's house and I tell these brothers, hey man, where's your green shirt at, brother? Where's your boots at? What? Let me tell you,
Uniform.
these stereotypes are real. I said, so you gonna pull up in them? What are them skinny jeans and what is that, man? You're sagging like, hey, I'm gonna give you one warning, brother. You have to come prepared for work. And I take
Yes.
these brothers and I say, listen, I don't want you under hop to it. You're your own entity. You're your own man. You pay your own bills. I'm gonna teach you how to form and make your own business. So I need you to
Come
go
on.
print your shirts out.
It's really
And
good.
that's Jamel Black, a guy that I'm working with, Royal Paintings here out of Topeka, Kansas now. But I showed him a quality, respect. Take
Yeah.
the earrings out, man. Don't be
Yeah.
smoking over here. Stay off of that cell phone over here. These people have cameras and they're watching. They're
Yes.
watching you, and you might get the door closed on the next brother contractor that's
Come
coming through.
on, man.
Keep this door open. Set a positive example. Be a
Well, that's
guide.
really good.
You
That's
know,
good.
and the thing about that is we have to understand this, man. A lot of us men, and not me personally, but I know men. I done deal with a lot of men. I never watch TV. I always watch people watch. I always read people. Um, a lot of us younger brothers are out here, they have a syndrome going on, like their dad wasn't there or they were injured by another black man. So you got to understand it's going to come off a little harsh because they're going to be standoffish because he might have been hurt by his uncle, his father. We don't know what his story is, but you might get blocked out at first. He might say no, but through you leading by example,
Come
that
on.
brother can't do nothing but see it. Like he said, if you don't show it, you don't know it. So the thing about it is, I'm gonna lead by this example. I love it because I had a relationship with a lady. She said, I'm gonna bring you out here. I said, one thing I like being in my community is they know who I am. They know what I've been through. They seen me down. They seen the trouble me. They seen the athletic me, the youth me. They seen me grow. And like Pastor Watson said, and my father, we know who he is. We know the evolution that you're coming into being. I don't want to ever present myself as if I'm a virgin or a person. We've all backslid before. There's not one, like I said, that can say that they don't have. Even the thought of negativity is still energy. You know what I mean? You don't have to say, "Hey man,
Yes, that's
I
true.
don't like you."
That's
I can
true.
see you and be like, "I'm not speaking. No, good morning. Hey, how you doing?"
That's
Shady,
true.
the shystiness, the shadiness. It's your
That's right.
character, and we got to be careful with our energy. Like the doc said, man, it reflects out of you. Now, when I go places, man, I went to a bar a couple weeks ago or something. Guess what? I had water in my cup and lemon. They didn't know what I was drinking. I'm drinking water and lemon, but I'm here and I'm with a couple guys. It was after work, so I took a couple guys out. This is my crew. Get y'all some drinks, some chicken wings, some things like that. But man, I met so many brothers that came up to me and said, "I'm proud of you, man. It's looking
Come
good. I
on.
want to get my thing going." So
Yeah.
I had to come back
Yeah.
into my old stomping ground, which was this bar. And I had to reflect and be a guiding light out here. And I'm smelling
Yes.
ear to ear because I'm preaching in my store, and it was my time to preach the gospel at a
Come on,
time
man.
to where they was accepting. He could have had a couple drinks, but he heard me. He called me the next
Heard
morning.
you.
We got something in flow. It's not gonna just come to you sitting at home. It's not gonna just come
Really
to you
good.
going to the church service. It's not gonna come to you watching the TV or just networking with those of a likewise mind. Your blessings is going to come to you when you least expect it, but God is watching us in every step we make. So I have to watch that. Like if a person's Facebook friends with me, you're not going to see no crazy stuff on my page. Family, work, you know what I mean? Positivity.
Mhm.
That's what I'm doing. I'm trying to knock all the naysayers out the box. I'm not going to gossip with you about another person around here. It is what
Don't
it
have
is
time.
because I know I'm real. I didn't sell out. So there's a lot of groups here in town. You might have sold out. You know who you are. You might have sold out, but I'm not. I'm not going to turn my back on Mrs. Platt, Curtis Pitts. No, because they're just like me. We've all got a story. So I'm here to say I'm going to stand strong and firm and 10 toes down on my beliefs. I forgive. I ask to be forgiven, but I want to see my community do better from the land
Oh,
around me that we trashing around here, wandering around that other side of town is so high, and while our town is so low. Open your eyes and realize they're giving all this government money away for the sidewalks, for these grants. Where's this money coming from, and why isn't our community being restored? You know what I mean? And that's something for Mrs. Platt because she was going to be on that panel there, and they didn't let her in. We have to put our minorities that's empowered, like Mrs. Platt, into office to open up the eyes of these projects. Look at Dr. Martin Luther King. Look at Mr. X. Doctor. Look at Malcolm X. They were sanctified when they started bringing the truth to our community. They were taken out. They were victimized out here. So when you are a leader or you take a leader seat, and these brothers had different things about him. King, we all heard that before. We all heard some things about Malcolm X. Who cares? What was the message that he was bringing? You know what I mean? They're going to always talk bad about you, but brothers out here, the young brothers especially, if you turn your backs on the gang, if you put that gun down, nothing's wrong with it, man. And when you get to living right, if somebody wrongs you, either forgive them or call the police. Because
yes.
if you don't do that, I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. You're gonna be setting up in that place. Your kid's mom might have another man. Another man's gonna be raising your kids. If you lucky, it's a good man. You know what I mean? So think about your actions, man. There's nothing wrong with seeking help if you are mentally challenged. There's nothing wrong with calling the police. There's nothing wrong with getting a job. The big homies are lying to you. They're lying to you. The real man is the working man. The presence that you get your kids from working is different from the presence that you get them kids from hustling. There's two
That's
types of
good.
money here. And that other
Good.
money, that working money has a more value to it because guess what? Now you got equity. Now you got stock. Now you got a bank account. Now
Pretty
you got
good,
a
AJ.
legal trail out
Pretty
here
good.
to where you can improve your credit. And a lot of us is living with bad credit. We don't know how to get that credit right. You have a
Come on.
chance, man. You got a chance. So I don't want these brothers feeling like you're trapped in a corner. I've been trapped into the corner for years, for years. And I had to really sit down and become wise. Spoke with a lot of older, mature brothers. Like he said, in that system right there, I just got out, did 16, 17. I'm big now. And man, that stuff lasts for a little bit of time. You might have came home in shape, but can you stay in shape? You might get off a paper, but can you be your own parole officer? You can't go to the gym for yourself. You can't go get your own food. You can't keep yourself a job. You telling me that you need this person to guide you through what being successful in society? You've already got it in you. The Lord installed a moral compass in you. You know what's right. You
That's
know
right.
what's wrong. Like if I go over here and trust, I know in my heart, hey, that's not right. Let that lady go in front of you and open
That's
her
right.
door. You know what I mean? There's a moral compass that's installed within you, that's given
Absolutely.
to you from Jesus. They give you a heart to
That's
know the
real.
difference. So
That's real.
energy's big, man, and I want to try to help everybody, man, and every race, every creed, because we have to come together as one to
Absolutely.
understand it. You know what I mean? I talked to a lawyer the other day. He apologized to me for what his people did. White lawyer here in town, and he apologized to me, and he was real. He said, "Hey, are you watching these laws, Roe versus Wade? Are you seeing that they're talking about right now that a certain race is going to not be able to marry this race? They're having these discussions." And one of our own, Clarence Thomas, has been on this board forever. He's the one that brought this conversation up. Now, I don't know, was he pressured? Was they having this conversation behind doors? Was he want to prepare America for what's to come? But if you're starting to pay attention to the news, they're talking about, is the government going to come in? Are you going to have arms? I mean, there's some scary stuff going on right now. Brothers, be aware. Like I said, I got pulled over by the police. I got shot 4 times. I'm not going to go really into details there, but I came back home, and I know that it was wrong. But what changed me was this. This wasn't like no gang shooting. This wasn't like, an enemy or nothing. This was a official, elected official. And I know it was wrong in my heart. I know that right there, this man tried to take me from my family. You know what I mean? Luckily, I got away, but they ended up catching up with me. But when I went and had to sit down and take some time of reflection, it's not like I'm coming back home. We gonna use names again. Little Tay Tay and them did this to my family or this one. You know, no, it wasn't that, man. You're not gonna go back home and have to, well, I don't know, police. You can't do it. Let it go. Sober up to it, man. Use it as a stepping stone. Get stronger. Hit you some push-ups. Get you some mental ups. Get you some pray-ups. Uh, so I got stronger, and I said, okay, this is one you got to let this one go, man. You got to get stronger from this and realize. So I start realizing, man, any of our children that get pulled over can be shot, victims of a crime, victims of a hate crime. You have to teach them. I say this again, you only strong as your weakest moment. You have to teach them in adversity what to do during transgression. I have to teach them now. Hey, a man walks on you. I give my kids instances. Let's say that solution. Man walks up to you. You know, you with your child right there. He walks up, shoulder bumps you. What do? You know, I'm gonna give it to you because I want to give you these situations. If you come outside, your car is getting stolen, you got a group around individuals around. What do? You go back yourself inside, get your cell phone out, record that. You're pulled over by the police. Get your cell phone out. You know what I mean? You have to give them a way out.
Yeah, so true.
You have two things that you can do in life. You can fight or you can flight. You know what I mean? Sometimes the fight's not working. I'm gonna take flight. Hey, I'm good, brother. I don't want no problems. We're gonna get in this car. Yeah, inside I'm a man. I'm burning up. Like, oh, I want to just fire on this. You know what I mean? But now I know, man. I'm a business owner. I'm an example to my children. You know, I'm in their lives. You know, I'm an example to them, a God light. I got a mom's getting old. My grandparents is getting old. They need me. I have a responsibility. I have a lane that I'm in out here, you know. So the violence out here, we've got to come together to where we can each find a way to stem together, because I didn't know about Dr. Gordon Bradshaw or Your Highness. You know what I mean? I know about Mrs. Platt because this is my location. But I like what y'all brothers are doing. I like the energy that y'all are giving. And I feel like if we have more of these, then we can build. And it's all about building together. You know, it might be something in my community that you held in your community. You know what I mean? Because we all know Chicago is way more violent than Topeka, Kansas. And that's what I tell these dudes. I say, hey, man, just because your gang or your organization's from Chicago, you're not from Chicago. I said, and you can't go to Chicago to these neighborhoods that you sitting here telling people that you can go in. No, you can't. They have a system, a hierarchy set up in here to where you can't go. And then if you went to the streets of LA, you would be scared to death to wear that other color. Right. So stop acting like our city.
Yeah.
Our city right here is on the magnitude of this. No, our city's like this because there's certain key individuals and roles that have passed on wrongful beliefs, traditions, values,
That's
and
real.
more. You know what I mean? And them is the individuals that the church and us as a whole should be coming to. Hey, let us talk to you, brother Tay Tay.
That's right.
We don't like what you're doing, and if you're not doing it, then we want you to pull their coattail, because we're tired of Sister LaRonda who can't bury little JJ down at this funeral home. They ain't got the money.
Right.
You know what I mean? They ain't got the money to bury him. He didn't have life insurance. You know what I mean? And we got to have these certain groups of people that build credit, people that teach what life insurance does, people that teach you how to write off your child support payments, or to how to get right with the government with tickets. Self-awareness groups that give this, you know, but that's all I got, brothers. I like to set back and
Good stuff, brother.
So I wanted to say to you all that
Good.
the atmosphere that we allow to be sustained becomes culture. The atmosphere that we allow to be sustained
So true.
becomes culture. And
That's
so
true.
I'm backing us back in. When we talk about the culture of gun violence, when we talk about the culture of the war on drugs, the gun violence culture came partially out of, but was before the war on drugs. Mm-hmm. So we have to understand the prison culture, the badge of honor culture comes out of that war on drugs culture, where fathers were leaving and brothers were leaving, and we format this culture, which formed our fashion. Not only did it form our fashion, it transformed the music industry, because you all know I'm a hip hop person, and this culture is being formatted. See, I was born in the 80s. There's a reason why I was born in the 80s, because I was born as a solution, right? Know what year you're born, the time you're born, you're the solution to something. So you got to know that time frame. And so everything is strategically happening on purpose, right? when Tara spoke in our chat, and she brings out that lawmakers know what they're doing when they're creating these policies, and they're outlining it because they want to form a culture. If they can get us to sustain this, the people, you, me, we sustain this, we continue this, we act on this. And when we begin to believe this is what a genre of people want, this is what a generation of people want, we transform an atmosphere into a culture because things are happening. We call it culture. It's not culture. There are attacks happening. There are individual things that are happening, which are adding up to a shift for us. And so, because we don't step in and do something, we make it a belief that this is what they believe or how people are. It is not how people are. Remember, people are a socialized people. Human beings are a socialized people. This cultural is this what we are seeing is historical traumas, historical imprints. It kept happening. It kept happening. Remember, as the stepologists, we take steps. We take steps, right? We let go of what didn't work for us, and we grab a hold of the lessons of what did, and we connect it to our next. If drug selling was the thing that provided for that family or that community, right? They're going to step back into that because they haven't seen another way. But it's for us to come in and to walk it like we talk it, right? And continue to show them, Mr. Hop to it, Mr. AJ Hopper, this is what can happen. Your Highness Clyde Rivers, when I'm saying 2017, 2018, actually 16, 17, 18, I'm on my job saying I'm going global. I'm going global. And people are saying, you can't go global. You live local. And I'm saying, I will go global. I am a global entity. I am the solution that others are needing. Not only am I the solution, but you are. And so when they begin to see that manifest and shift itself, and they begin to see, she may be going global. I think she can do this. Did you see what she was doing? Did you see she was here? Did you see there? And so now, as they're seeing this, or they see me walking to go out for city council, they say, "How can you do this? You come from this. Your brother just got shot. The dude you thought you was gonna marry, Mark Edwards, your brother shot. Come on, your pops has been in some of everything. Come on, your mom died when she was younger. Come on, all you seen was drug addiction. Come on, woman, the divorce failed. They keep seeing all these things that didn't happen. But remember, as the step, if we're gonna change this, we're gonna have to let go of what didn't happen. We're gonna have to study and learn from it. And when we study it and learn from it, we take the step into our next. That means being vulnerable. We talk about the people who have gotten comfortable. Not only have they got comfortable, but leaders have gotten comfortable because they're sitting in seats and don't want to do the work and get uncomfortable. They're sitting in seats and don't want to say the thing that's going to cause chaos. They're sitting in seats and don't want to dismantle system because they believe because they serve in the system and get paid by the system, they got to maintain a system. It's time for a shift to happen. But the shift happen when you begin to feel that pain. And so as we level off, because when I say we're going to end at, 11:30, I'm saying 11:30. But as we wrap this part up and we go into it, we know it's some stuff that has to shift, right? And Regina knows I got to get comfortable being uncomfortable. I got to sit here with y'all. See, when I wanted to establish and have this conversation on this weekend, people were saying, well, they got this happening and they got that happening. This person is going to do this event and this person is going to do that event, right? And then they're saying to me, why you want to have that conversation like you're dreading on it? I'm not dreading on it. But there's a generation, there's a people that need to be sparked and awakened. And I got to do it in a way that reaches them right where they are.
That's real.
So I can reach them on virtually. If we can impact and save this video where it can be channeled out and reach more and more, I'm going to do it, right? Yeah. I'm going to tell this story, right? I'm going to feel my way through this, right? Because as I'm vulnerable here feeling it, so are you.
Yes.
So are you. And that means
you know what I say, Dr. Platt? Create a conversation, then create continuity.
Ooh.
Get it started. If you do this again, I'd love to be a part of it.
And you know what? And watch this here, AJ. We have to. The reason why I started I Change Nations, my one of my companies, it's the world's largest culture of honor organization in the world. The reason why I started it is I had a kid tell me, he said, Dr. Rivers, Martin Luther King failed us. I said, what do you mean? He says, we're fighting the same battles. And the Holy Spirit spoke to me and said, because that kid has seen no modern day heroes.
All
The
right.
only heroes we show are Nelson Mandela, Dr. King. What about AJ Hopper? That's a modern day hero for his community. So the reason why I started I Change Nations was if we don't model who the heroes are,
That's right.
whatever you praise, they will practice. If you're praising violence, they will practice it. If violence gets more time in the media, they will practice it. This is what I tell people. There are three mentors in the world. You have music, media, and mentors. Music mentors you, media mentors you, and the actual greatest mentor is your smart technology today.
Yeah.
What comes through that technology is your mentor. What you put in your what you look at on like social media is your mentor. So you're getting a message through your mentorship mechanism,
That's
which
right.
is your phone.
That's right.
Most people mentor exactly with the information. So I tell people we have to impact, and this is the problem. We've not been in the media actually creating news. We've been the news. We've not been in the entertainment world bringing life out. We've been the ones doing other stuff. So if we're going to change the world, we got to impact and be the creators of new content, new ideas, new innovations. That's got to come from us. So a generation can look at something different. I tell people as an African king, I make people. I'll be going into England really soon. I'll be the first African king to come into a city in England. Now watch this. I want all the protocols laid out. I need to have everything. Like I'm not coming as a second-rate king. I want to be treated like the Queen of England, because if I lower the bar, I show our culture that it's okay to actually treat a black king different.
Right.
No, you can't do that. I am king, Dr. Clyde Rivers, and hear this. I don't need that for my ego because I'm in God. But the people need to see me treated at that royal level because I have the royal title. So I'm not bending on nothing. I need to have security there. I need to have all these things in place. I need to have, when I go out there, it's this so my people can see you can live at this level as well.
I see thrones, Dr. Rivers.
Come on, man.
That was a quick plugger for my last book. I see thrones.
And then Dr. Platt, I want to bring AJ in as a world civility ambassador. Yeah. I want to do that for AJ. I may even have you put together an event for him to where he's honored as a modern day hero, as a role model for generations. They see him. See, it's and watch this here. If you don't mind this, and there's another thing we got to do. We got to know when to leave the stage and lift somebody else up.
Come on.
We can't be 90-year-old people trying to hold the stage. We got to lift AJ up and say, hey, man, I had my day on the stage, bro. Now I'm lifting you. Let them see you. And I think we do a horrible job of occupying the stage way too long, not knowing when to turn it over to the next generation. Amen. That's our fault.
That's real, Doctor.
Thank you so much, Doctor. Appreciate that.
You deserve that, brother.
Well, we'll make that happen.
So, Dr. Bradshaw and Mr. Harper, I just want to give you a moment to leave with some last words, and then I'm going to wrap us up before we leave off.
Well, the thing that I want to have as a takeaway here is that it's time to be impactful. A drop of water can cut a hole in a rock if you keep going with it. Don't stop. And I take that slogan from Walt Disney. He says, keep moving forward. He had a lot of obstacles in his life, a lot of pressures, but look what he became. My daughter is a cartoonist, an animator, and so I gravitate toward that. Keep moving forward. Whatever you do, don't stop. And I tell people this all the time. I said the GPS system built into your car and built into your phones. If you make 20 wrong turns, you will get to your destination provided you don't park the car or turn the GPS off.
Come on.
Keep the address in it. 20 wrong turns, keep it moving. You'll get where you got to go. So I want to encourage everybody for continuity. Create a conversation, then create continuity. Keep it going, keep it moving, keep speaking. If somebody's listening, I just did a series, The Universe is Listening. So I want everybody to know somebody is taking what you're saying and using it for good. Thank you for this opportunity, Dr. Platt.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rivers, for being who you are in my life. Thank you, Brother Hopper. Good to meet you, man. You're getting down, brother. You're doing some great things. So I appreciate all of you all.
Definitely. Thank you, sir. I just want to say, thank you to the whole panel. I really got some real insight here and some knowledge and understanding here. And to the brothers and the sisters and the kids that's been down, that might have took, like Doctor just said, man, there's a lot of wrong turns you could have took, but some way down the street, if you keep riding, there's going to always be a right turn you can escape to. And it starts within your heart. Also, one thing I want towards the gun violence, let's have community awareness, and let's have a community activist that's with inside the community. Let's get somebody to where we can go to. They can say, like I say, like, hey man, I can go to every corner, hey, and talk to these guys. We have to, like Yana said, we have to understand that everyone can't go everywhere. Sometimes we don't have a pass to get here. We might not be able to reach you spiritually, like Pastor Watson. I might not be able to meet you mentally or on a legislative level like Dr. Regina Platt can. But I'm gonna meet you head on. And the thing about it, gun violence is real. Brothers, please get this to your repertoire. Please, thank you, excuse me, I'm sorry. Get these things: good morning, good evening, good night, goodbye, hello. Get these things in your everyday vocabulary, because through them things right there direct a different spirit, a different energy coming out of you. If
Sound
you're
like
wrong,
civility to me.
yeah, if you're wrong, say I'm sorry. If somebody's in your way, hey, excuse me. Hey, if you didn't want them problems, tell that brother that. Don't be, hey, brother, I don't want them problems. I'm not with the, no, I'm not with the violence. Tell them where you are. So many times when I was living that life, I had an individual tell me, hey, man, I'm not with this, or this. Respect that. And I respected that. You know what I mean? Honor who you are. Know who you are. You don't have to be in a gang. You don't have to go with peer pressure. Have a protected sex. Don't if you abuse these women, man, try to talk highly of men, and women try to talk highly of your man. Don't create that irrational in his heart and his brain. Don't create that in her brain. I've been wrong for everything, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, let's get right. Let's make it right. You know what I mean? Let's move in a righteous moment in the movement. And that's all I got to say, man. To God be the glory.
And so I will wrap this up. What I will say to you all is thank you, thank you, thank you. And again, I'm going to say it again. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This conversation would not have happened without you. You are the solution. You are the solution, but you cannot conquer all. All that you're going to be able to conquer today is a step. And so, whatever that step is, if that step is connecting, if that step is giving a word, if that step is resting, the only way you're going to be able to connect, the only way we're going to be able to change this is with a step in the right direction. So I am Regina Platt, your stepologist. Please understand that tomorrow we will be back at it again at 10 a.m. and there will be a panel of women, firehouse women who have been on my team, who have assisted me in walking forward. And I want to share this space with you all and let you see. We will be talking about the relationships and connection to healing. Dr. Tara, if you would like to step in and join in that conversation, let me know. I would love for you to tap in. But let me explain this to y'all. Together, we can win. I thank each of you again for joining me in this space. Dr. Gordon Bradshaw, I know I will have you again for another conversation. AJ Hopper, you've always been a part of the conversations. I believe in you. I see you I thank you for being vulnerable today and telling some things I didn't even know about you. And so today I learned a lot about you, and I thank you all. And I can't wait to have you honored with that civility award. It is a
Thank you.
pleasure because you're doing the work.
Doing the
Thank
work.
Doing the work.
Doing it.
And I thank you. All right. Take care of yourselves and enjoy the rest of your Saturday. See you back at it again tomorrow with a group
Blessings.
of powerhouse women. Bye, y'all.
Blessings to all.
you. Bye.